day. Liars will be running on that great day. Remember that song? Uh, who shall be able to stand? Oh. Mm, mm, mm. God is getting us ready for that great day. Oh, God is getting us ready for that great day. God is getting us ready for that great day. Who shall be able to stand? Oh, who shall be able to stand? That was the Staples Singers. Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. First of all, I'd like to welcome you, each and every one of you, to the Mental House with me, your host, Khadija. Oh boy, this story that I'm bringing to you it breaks my heart. Basically, it really does, and I want y'all to understand this. Whatever side of the diaspora you on, I want you to understand how deeply, deeply traumatized ADOS or FBAs, whichever one you want to call them. I choose to say ADOS, of course, but the 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 problem is you get an inside look of how traumatized we really are. Now, this story gets to the core of what Willie Lynch said about us being perpetually miserable, and don't even worry about us if you would implement all those things he told you, like pitting the old slave against the young slave, and the black, uh, the big woman against the small woman, or the young man against the old. When he said we'll take their differences and we'll magnify them, and when we use this formula is what is used all throughout the world when we dealing with the European and the black man, especially. They've used this. Um, they've used this playbook for so long now. You would think that we would be just immune to it, but of course we not. And so when I talk about this story that hurts me, it's regarding $300,000 and black preachers. I want to say that again. It's about $300,000 and three named black so-called leadership. One is from the Baptist Convention. One of them is one of them Church of God in Christ. I think it was Sheard, and the other man, I can't even think of his name because this is the problem. There was a member. There was actually an ultimatum put on the table for Target. And as you know, Target is being boycotted by black people because of their practices and because of what they think about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay? They was the first ones that said, "Oh, we don't need this no more." So all that standing with George Floyd was just a joke. Correct? Correct. Y'all following me? So this story is for those of y'all who don't know. I know most of y'all that come here and talk and listen with me, y'all pretty knowledgeable about current events and everything. But this is for the folks that don't know. So what happened? All these people signed on when Breonna Taylor got killed, when George Floyd got murdered, and they said they was tired of racism too, just like us. Um, these stories, because we spend over $1 trillion in this economy, um, which includes stores like Walmart and Target, and black people spend more money in the economy than anybody. So what we were attempting to do was gain some of that power back, and decided not to spend our money with these corporations until they made some type of commitment to black people. There was a set of demands that was placed upon Target, and the demands were a certain amount of monies, investing in young entrepreneurship. Anyway, I think the total came to, maybe a few billion, or that's what all these years of dealing with Target, if we're going to have an equitable relationship, then this is what you're going to do right now, because white folk ain't buying stuff out your stores. Black people are. So I think it's a very good grassroots boycott. I thought it was a very effective, and so did most people. In fact, it was so effective that the Target CEO did that old play, went and pulled out that old playbook about black people selling them own selves out, and you don't have to worry about them because they're their own worst enemy. And so what they did was they got these three preachers to accept $300,000. And the letter is so stupid that comes from the preachers that states for job inclusive, and they're going to do it for community redevelopment and blah blah blah, what they're going to use $300,000 for, as opposed to a couple billion that was on the table, and scholarships and everything else. So they undermine the movement for the mess of pottage like Judas. These were your black preachers. And I, you know, this is the kind of stuff I understand when Farrakhan said, one day soon, when we have a nation of our own, we gonna do to our traitors what America does to hers. And I understand that. I understand that. That's not the language of warfare. That's the language of survival. You're supposed to want to survive. You're not supposed to allow people to just dangle a few carrots in front of your face, and because you're so selfish and you don't have no love for your own people, but you stand up in front of congregations talking about Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus ain't nowhere in it. And if he was around, he would say, get away from me, you evildoer. I never knew you. How in the hell can you make a deal with the devil that only benefits you, not your community? There's no more. And so this program talking about, so each one of the entities had to get what, $100,000, because there was three: the Baptist Convention, the Kojic, and somebody else, whoever. Uh, how far do you think that little money stretch? How far do you think that little money stretch? And y'all was willing to do that to your own people? Sell them out? I get really upset about stuff like this, because this to go to show you there are some people still in our community that need to be dealt with, and they stand behind preachers' robes. They stand behind big. See, that's why you got to really bring it. When you really talking about these preachers, I'm not talking about even what they do in their personal lives. I'm not even talking about that. That's bad enough, but that's like Donald Trumpish. So since somebody said, why are you talking about that? They can do no, because when you do unethical shit like that to your wife, to your husband, to your partner, whatever, when you are involved with unethical shit, it don't stop. So these ministers were willing to sell us out for this money that Target went behind the black community's back to do a under the table deal to stop the boycott, to make a deal. Matter of fact, I'm sure they jumped at that. They was like 300,000. That's all? Cause they gave us a ultimatum at first, and it was for a lot more money than that. I'm sure that's what they thought. They said, we knew it. We knew black people couldn't stand the test of time. We knew it. So they want to cut a deal with some black preachers. And the black preachers, and it was only supposed to be for 90 days anyway. But this is the kind of insults that they do. And this is the way we insult our own community. And then you talking about we're going to want liberation? See, that's why we have to put away and vet some of these people. And this is not to, sullen all ministers, but we know why that became. We know what your job was when the slaves came off the slave ship. Well, I would say pretty much when you were allowed to worship, you were given a program by the preachers. You were sold religion. You were sold a bill of goods. And you can tell these preachers don't believe it because look how they look. You could tell they don't believe nothing. Because how could they be so crooked? They can't have a God consciousness. They can't. I mean, and it wasn't just for black people. It was for LGBTQ. It was for marginalized communities, and what we have right here in our community is is a shortage of jobs, a shortage of everything. I'm sorry, y'all. This hurts me so bad that it's really kind of hard to bring it. But I will say this: we have to still stand. We have to stand, and we have to hold those preachers accountable. We have to hold them accountable, and let them know that they don't have the right to speak for us. I'm gonna ask them. I'm gonna take it one step further and ask them to give the money back. Because when I read this brief, it says Target announced the end of some diversity efforts Friday, citing the importance of staying in step with the evolving external landscape while reiterating its commitment to inclusion and belonging, according to the internal memo from Chief Community Impact and Equity Officer Kiera Fernandez, the company shared via email. Target is concluding its 3-year diversity equity inclusion goals, and this year as planned, its racial equity action and change initiatives. The company said that in a blog post on Friday. The retailer will no longer participate in third-party diversity surveys, which include human rights campaigns, corporate equality index. The company said that its supplier diversity team has been renamed Supplier Engagement, which better reflects the inclusive global procurement process across the broad range of suppliers, including increasing all our focus on small business. Now, listen to all that double speak shit. I don't like how this feels. I don't like the fact that three big shot pork chop preachers made an underhanded deal under the table. And I got a problem with it. And I just had to speak on it. We can't never get nowhere with this kind of stuff and these kind of people. They need to be ostracized. Okay, now what say you? Is it just me? Y'all got any feelings about this? They didn't keep all those programs that I just named, but they kept quite a few. Okay, and most of them that I read off was from the original statement from them, the original brief. But they're fine now because they feel like everything is fine. And as long as we got these preachers in our back pocket and we can give them 300,000, that's a cheap price. Tell me what y'all think. If you like what you hear, subscribe and share my channel. I'll see you in the next video.